Hello, students. Welcome to Gyanvihar School of Education, Suresh Gyanvihar University. I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal, and today's my topic is Attitude Scale and the subject Methodology of Educational Research. And I hope you will all understand the concept very attentively. And my learning objective of today's class are to introduce you with the components of attitude, what is attitude scale, and dimensions of attitude scale. I hope you will be enabled to understand Thurston scale, Likert scale, and we will see the conclusion what about the attitude scale. So let me introduce you first of all about the attitude scale, what it is. As you can see one picture here, it is seen to you, think you can or think you can't. Either way, you will be right. This is the good quotation of Henry Ford. And he has said rightly that think you can or think you can't. Both way it is right. So attitude is something that is forcing us to think that we are right. So let's understand about attitude and attitude scales. So students, the word attitude has been derived from the Latin word aptus, and it means ability of doing something. An attitude is an established way of thinking or feeling reflected in a person's behavior towards others. How do I feel about others, particular persons? That's my attitude. How do I think about them? How do I feel about them? How do I reflect it through my behavior? That's my attitude. And it is moreover a tendency to respond positively or negatively towards a certain idea, object, person, or situation. So, the way we are actually responding to anything, that is our attitude, and attitude can be positive or negative. So, we have certain concepts of our own related to anything. It can be related to any idea or an object or about a person or a situation. So, it influences a person's choice of action that in way the person likes to do the things and the person dislikes to do certain things. So, it is what a person believes or what a person feels. This is all about attitude, that it makes us feel that I can do this and I cannot do this. It makes us feel about others, and it makes us feel or think about a person or an idea or a situation or a particular person, that in what way we are going to do our certain actions of series. So, students, attitude, what attitude? So, attitude cannot be measured in absolute terms. So, as the honesty cannot be measured, in the same way, attitude can also not be measured in absolute terms. It can be, though, it can be observed in terms of opinion, which can be elicited from an individual's behavior, overt behavior, both verbal and non-verbal behavior. So sometimes, even if the person is not speaking in oral form, or the person is not writing anything, or the person is showing some attitude towards the with his or her body language also. So this is something that we can feel, we can measure, but absolute terms, if we are talking, it is not possible to measure in that way. So we are going to see two very important definitions given by Eysenck and Frank Freeman. Now, Eysenck says in 1972, an attitude is normally defined as a perceptual orientation and response readiness in relation to a particular object or class of object. So it means, students, that when we are actually looking all around and how it is oriented to us, we perceive some idea. We perceive some readiness of responses, how we are going to do in particular situation or towards an object or classes of object. So, according to Ising, it is normally defined as a perceptual orientation and response readiness. So, remember it in that way. Secondly, according to Frank Freeman, an attitude is a dispositional readiness to respond to certain situations, persons, or objects in a consistent manner, which has been learned and becomes one's typical mode of response. So it is how actually the way we feel, we continue to feel. And according to Frank Freeman, it actually owned by us and we just develop it into a habit. And it is the type of response that is then gradually expected from us. Okay, then in this situation, we are going to respond in that way only, and people get this idea. So it is a dispositional readiness, how you respond to a certain situation or towards a person or an object in a consistent manner. It is not changed. Maybe it is later on changing with some sort of experiences or guidance or some sort of inner sort of thinking or introspection. So this is according to Frank Freeman. Now, students, let's see characteristics of attitude. So, first of all, attitudes are learned. Yes, of course. When we are talking about small children, they are so soft and they are so raw in their nature that whatever they do, actually, they sometimes copy or intimate their elders, parents, teachers, and then they learn to respond to any object, any situation, any person in a certain way. So certain type of responses which they learn from their elders, parents, or teachers is actually forming a style of responding in their nature, and gradually it becomes attitude. So this is actually learned from others also. So what is attitude? So first characteristic we are going to be actually discuss here. So attitudes are learned. Then secondly, attitudes have reference. How much you are inspired from others. How much you are actually taking the reference of others to inspire yourself. So in that way, attitudes have reference also. Then attitudes are social learning. Yes, it is right, students. When the child is moving in society, so child meets many person around there. So by that time, social learning is happening, and the child is learning so many things, direct or an indirect way. So that is helping him in creating his positivity or negativity towards a person, object, or situation. And it is somehow actually just building up his attitude. So we can say attitudes are social learning. Then next is attitudes are effective. Yes, students, attitudes are effective in some situations and to some persons. Why it happens that many of the person, when they say something, whole of the family listens to him or her very carefully, because that is the difference from his attitude to other person's attitude. So attitudes are effective when it is taken in right direction and right way. So then attitude vary in intensity. It is not like that the person is whole and soul negative. And it is also not possible that we can declare a person whole and soul positive only. So it depends on the individual differences, that somehow few person remain positive in some situations and convert negative into another situation. So it varies into intensity, how a person responds in a particular situation and how the another person responds in another situation. or maybe the same situation. So intensity of a particular attitude is not the same all the time. So it varies time to time, situation to situation. Then next, attitudes have a time dimension. Yes, it is right. With due course of time, with due course of experiences or guidance, or maybe the environmental factors or the peer group pressure or influences we can talk about. So there are some attitudes which are for time being, but there are few time attitudes which actually retain for long. So attitudes have a time dimensions certainly. Then attitudes are evolutions. Yes, attitudes are evolutions. They keep on carrying on certain things within the mind and brain and motivate the individual to do and respond in certain ways with more confidence, positively. Then attitudes are adopted also. Yes, it is right that sometimes we are not having that particular kind of attitude, but we learn it from somewhere else, and then we actually adapt it to ourselves, and then we think, okay, I can own this type of attitude. So next is attitudes are formed due to the process of differentiation. So why I can say that one person is very positive of attitude and another is negative, because I'm making a differentiation and there is a comparison between two persons. So it is a process of differentiation also. The next is some attitudes are formed due to some shock or tragedy. Many cases we have heard that people were absolutely of very cheerful mood, always remaining happy, and they were very positive kind of personality, but sometimes a tragedy may happen with them, and or a shock may happen, shock may be there. So that in that case it is quite possible the person may change his previous attitude, which was very positive, to the negative. Maybe the person can develop a negative attitude towards God also, maybe another person also. So this is how the shock and tragedy works in attitude formation. Attitudes are inferred and attitudes are complex. So it is not easy to understand someone's attitude in a very general way. We have to study the behavior of a particular person for some certain time period. Only then we are able to tell about the attitude, and after that even there are so many changes in human behavior, so we cannot say that the attitude is fixed. As I've told you, it varies and it has changing situation also. So attitudes have a duration factor. Sometimes attitude is for short duration and sometimes it is for long duration. Now let's study about structure of attitude. How the attitude is developed or how the attitude is made up of. So it has three components, students. So firstly, we are going to discuss about affective component. The feelings or emotions towards any object, person, situation. Maybe I'm scared of something, but maybe I'm happy to see few things. For example, if I say I'm scared of spiders or cockroaches, it is a feeling of emotions or towards that particular creature. So this is something very covering the affective component. But on the contrary, if I say I'm happy to have an ice cream, so this is affective component that the person is happy. Then secondly, we are talking about behavioral component. So the way the attitude we have influences how we act or behave. So, like for example, I will avoid spiders and scream if I see one. So this is how I have fixed my behavior for particular things, that if I see spider I will scream. This is my behavior component in my attitude. On the contrary, if I see an ice cream, I will maybe again I'm screaming, but I'm shouting with happiness. So this is how the components are covering the structure of attitude. So first one is affective component. Secondly, it is behavioral component. Then third part or the component of the structure of attitude is cognitive aptitude. So cognitive aptitude is something students that it is actually involving a person's belief, knowledge about an attitude object. What kind of the thing is there? What kind of person you are? Or how is this situation? If you are behaving in that way that you are showing some awareness or showing some intelligence or your knowledge towards it, or maybe it can be your belief as well. So it would be covering cognitive component. So again, it is, for example, I believe spiders are dangerous. So this is actually covering the cognitive component, because see students how it is covering, and this is also called ABC model of attitude. So remember, when we are studying about structure of attitude, we are talking about ABC model of attitude. So A stands for affective, B stands for behavioral component, and C stands for cognitive component of the attitude. So this is all about structure. Now let's move forward and let's understand about attitude scale. So till now students, we have seen what is attitude and what are the characteristics of attitude. And we have also seen structure of attitude. We have seen about ABC model. Now let's understand about attitude scale. What is that? So let's understand it in a very elaborative manner, and I hope you will understand it. So students, the word scale came from the Latin word scala and meaning a ladder or flight of steps. So a scale represents a series of ordered steps at fixed intervals used as a standard of measurement. So scala means ladder, which stairs or flight of steps in Latin language. So scale representing a series of ordered steps 1, 2, 3, 4 or in a fixed intervals used as a standard of measurement. How we are going to measure the attitude scale, not in absolute terms, but somehow we are going to measure it. So an attitude scale is a special type of questionnaire designed to produce scores indicating the intensity and direction for or against of a person's feeling about an object or event. So how the person is feeling, how the person is responding towards a particular object or a situation or an event or a person, it is giving you actually very good sort of idea that attitude scale is measuring about. So an attitude scale is a tool prepared for the purpose of measuring people's attitude to an issue is called attitude scale. So an attitude is designed to provide a valid or accurate measure of an individual's social attitude. You can see in my presentation, students, there are 6 phases given to you. An attitude scale is measuring. And it is about attitude scale, how the person is feeling about pain. It is the attitude, how it is actually responding. So, how does the patient feel towards their pain? It is actually explaining about it. So, attitude scale you can see from 0 to 5, and it is showing you that to avoid that first 0 is hopeful, and for second Paul is related to willing to endure if required. So patient is feeling something certainly about the pain, and it is not measurable. But when we are putting up some words or gestures to it, and the patient has to choose that. So we are able to know about it in a very interesting manner. So let's say students, once again, zero stands for hopeful. Okay, there is not so much pain and the patient is feeling fine. And second is one number which we have allotted is willing to endure. Okay, fine, the pain is going on, but we are working fine. But searching for answers. So why there is a pain? Why I'm feeling pain? So this is showing that. Number three is showing desperate. Why I'm feeling pain? Just remove it. And in fourth, bitter, very bitter. So this the pain is not endurable. And then hopeless in fifth situation. So this is how attitude scale is measuring and designed to provide a valid or accurate measure of an individual's social attitude. Now students, let's discuss about dimensions of incorporated into a scale. So what are incorporated dimensions which are into an attitude scale? So let's see on the screen. First one is direction, then degree, and then intensity. In which direction your feelings or thoughts are going on, or in at what degree they are persisting, highest or lowest. Intensity, how much deep it is rooted. So that's all about an attitude scale. Now, direction. First of all, we are understanding about it. So it is a positive or negative feeling about something. In which direction it is going on? Towards positive or towards negative? It is an important aspect of attitude. Like, I like horses. Positive direction it is going towards. I don't like horses. So this is a negative direction towards an animal. So this is how you understand the direction. Once it is directing to you something towards certain feelings, it is making your direction of attitude. Then degree. Now students, it describes the amount of liking or disliking something. So amount of liking or disliking attached to an attitude, it is telling you. So students may have different degrees of liking, which can be measured from a moderate to strong to very strong. What kind of amount you are having for liking horses or disliking horses? Do you like them very much? Okay, this would have been the answers. So the idea of degree can be applied to the negative feelings towards an object also. I just hate it. I really don't like it. That means the person cannot tolerate it at all. The degree is so much, very strong degree. But if the person says, I don't like, okay, please, oh, I don't like, okay, types, no, I don't like. But if there is something in front of you, fine, there is no problem. So degree is very moderate, or you can say very less degree, you don't like something. So this is how degree is mentioning about an attitude. Now let's talk about intensity. So intensity is something showing you the strength of feeling. At a high degree of intensity, some given kind of behavior is motivated. Also, the comparison for strength of one attitude to another may determine which one becomes the basis of action. So, for example, I'm crazy about horses. So, this is crazy. The word crazy is showing how much strong is your feeling. So, this example shows high intensity of attitude. I hate your horses. So hate word shows the strength of your feeling. So this is all about direction, degree, and intensity. These are the components, students. These are the dimensions from which an attitude is made up of. All right. Now, students, indicators of attitude. So let's understand them one by one. There are few indicators also which show your attitude, which actually easily accessible. And how it is done? So number one, it is done through behavior. She eats an ice cream. So affective reaction, she likes eating ice cream. Just imagine a girl is eating ice cream. This is her behavior. So affective reaction, she likes eating ice cream. Now how will you self report? She tells us that she likes eating ice cream. How will peer group of that girl will report? Her friends tell us. And how this physiological measure? Heart rate can be measured. When she eats ice cream, she's so happy that heart rate is at very good rate. People may conceal their attitudes and express socially acceptable opinions also. Politicians kissing a baby, is this behavior a true affection towards infants? Maybe they are hiding something. Maybe they are doing this just for voting purpose only. So this is actually very important for you all to students that remember it. People may conceal their attitude and express socially acceptable opinions and attitude only. So attitude is something that you will be ultimately showing through your behavior. All right. So these are the indicators how your attitudes is shown to others. Now, students, we are coming to the different scales which are actually constructed for measuring the attitude. And in that, first of all, we are going to study about Thurston scale. It's a very important scale and very significant in the field of research also. So it is the first formal method designed to measure attitude. It was developed by Louis Leon Thurston in 1928. Thurston firstly developed an attitude scale in 1928, and full name of Thurston was Louis Leon Thurston. Just remember it. It is also known as method of equal appearing interval. So remember this name also, equal appearing interval is also called Thurston scale. It is made up of statements about particular issues and consists of statements which have a range of weights from high, usually 11, to low, usually 1. Subjects select the attitudinal statements they agree with most. So this is how the statements are made, range of high weights from low weights. So usually 11 and low is usually 1. So it is actually selected from the person and the attitude is measured. Now see how construction of Thurston scale is done. Just check it. Selection of statements. So 60 short statements regarding the issue under study was collected. Historically, 130 statements were short, straightforward, and unambiguous. So these statements should express opinions and facts as well. So statements should express all shades of attitude from extremely favorable through neutral to extremely non-favorable. You can see this scale: unfavorable, neutral, and then favorable. So it is proceeding in that way. So this is how the Thurston scale is working. Then for this example, statements about same-sex marriage. See, the statements are given to you. For same-sex marriage, it should be against the law. You are in favor of it or not favoring, or you are neutral. You are given three options, and out of them you are choosing one. And in that way, your attitude will be measured according to Thurston scale. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Marriage is between a man and a woman. It should be a sin. It's perfectly appropriate for two consenting adults. It should be legalized. It can harm children. Some same sex couples should have the same legal rights as a male female couple. It's just horrible. It can't do any harm. So these are the some short statements given to you, and accordingly you will be choosing your best component that is given to you in earlier slide, that was unfavorable, neutral, or favorable. So this is how your own choice will decide your attitude. Now, selected statements were mimographed on separate slips of paper. How you have chosen it? This is according to Thurston scale, which I'm telling you. And then statements were sent out to about 30 judges. Thurston sent out to 300 judges students for sorting into 11 or 9 piles. Each statement should be put in one of the 11 or 9 piles. So how you can see this, these slips of paper are kept together. Now, categories starting from extremely favorable to extremely unfavorable. 1. Least favorable to the concept. 11. Most favorable to the concept. And whatever the slips we are getting, we are going to organize it in that way only. So now the computation of data after the judges have categorized the statements. Now it's the task of judges that they have categorized all the statements given in a particular concept. So a frequency table to each statement is drawn separately on which component what actually you have received the responses. So showing the number of judges put it in different categories. You can see here for each item plot the distribution of pile numbers which you have received. Okay, so this is the graphical presentation or computation of data, how you actually categorize your statements, and then frequency table. With the help of frequency table you have done the computation of data. Now students, let's see, for each student compute the median and interquartile range. Then median is something is the value above and below which 50% of the ratings fall. So the first quartile is the value below which 25% of the cases fall and above which 75% of the cases fall. In other words, the 25th percentile, we can call it. So the median is the 50th percentile. The third quartile, Q3, is the 75th percentile. So the interquartile range is the difference between third and first quartile, that may be Q3 minus Q1. So in that way, we are going to compute the median and interquartile range of the attitude scale. So if the judges cannot rate the item on its favorability or show a high degree of variability in their judgments, the item is eliminated. Then that item is not kept in assessment. So the percentage of judges who placed each statement in the different category constitutes the basic data for computing the scale value of a statement. The median position, 50th percentile or second assigned by the judges to the statement, is called the scale value of the statement. So let's assume that the average ratings among our judges as below. It should be against the law 1.7. So this is the rating given by judges also on the basis of the responses given by persons. So there are absolutely nothing wrong with it. 6.8 rating is given to it. Marriage is between a man and a woman, it is given 2.4 rating. Then it should be a sin, 1.3 rating is given to it. And then it is perfectly appropriate for two consenting adults, it is 8.4. Then it should be legalized, it is given 9.1. So now administration and scoring. Let's see it how Thurston scale is administered. So it is arranged to students in a random order and administered. Respondents tick mark the statement with which they agree or leave the rest. They will be choosing only one which they feel that they are most appropriately responding according to their feeling. The weights favorably rating for the checked statements are summed and divided by the number of statements checked. So example, the respondent selected 2, 3, 5. His score will be 6.8, 2.4, 8.4 divided by 3 equals to 5.8. So how it is done? Now, different direct scales for assessing attitude towards the church. Thurston scale adapted from Thurston and Chave 1929. Now, see, attitude towards the church is being given here, and there are 6 statements given. And check the statements with which you agree. So I enjoy the church because there is a spirit of friendliness there. Second statement, I respect any church member's beliefs. I think it is all bunk. So 8.8 rating is given, 3.3 in fast. I think the organized church is an enemy of science and truth. 10.7 is given in for this statement. I believe in what the church teaches, but with mental reservation. So 4.5 is given to this statement. I feel that church services give me inspiration and help me to live up to my best during the following week. So, this is 1.7. I feel the need of religion but do not find what I want in any one church. So, 6.1 is given. Now, students, we have studied about Thurston scale. Now, let's understand about Likert scale. This is also another most popular attitude scale type, and it was given by Rensis Likert in 1932. Students, it is also known as summated rating scale, and most popularly it is known as Likert scale only. Respondents indicate the extent to which they endorse the statements, agree or disagree. So this shows how much they are feeling agreement or disagreement towards any object, person or situation, or anything else might be an event. So constructing a Likert scale, how it is constructed, let's see. Collect statement first of all. This process does not require categorization of item by a group of judges. Items 50, 60 are selected on the basis of the response of subjects to whom they are administered in the course of developing the test. So the statements are arranged randomly and have a 5-point rating scale. Strongly agree, agree, uncertain, disagree, strongly disagree. So these are the 5-point rating scales which is actually being done. So in the Likert scale. Now see students, the criteria for this test is only internal consistency. And the list is printed and sent out to a sample of about 200 members of the population concerned. And after the respondents have finished with the list, the statements are evaluated for the selection or rejection in the final draft. So the number of favorable and unfavorable statements should be approximately equal. The sum of the statements credits represents the score of an individual. You can see strongly agree 1, disagree 2, undecided 3, and agree 4, and strongly agree 5. So this is how the categories are made from 1 to 5. Now scripts are arranged in descending order of total scores. Top 25% and bottom 25% scripts are taken out. They are actually removed. The mean scores and variances of each statements in the top and bottom piles are computed separately. They will be top 25 and bottom 25. They will be computed separately. And significance of difference is tested by T ratio. So those statements for which the T ratio is equal or greater than 1.96 are suitable for correlation. All right, students, or selection. All the statements are sorted out and arranged in descending order of numerical value of T. So then top 10 to 15 favorable and unfavorable statements are selected and arranged randomly to shape the final draft. So now let's have a look on the administration and scoring of the Likert scale. The final script administered when it is prepared, then tick mark each of the statements, award marks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are decided, reverse marks for reversal items, then sum of the scores of the respondent presents his total score, which can be interpreted in terms of empirically established norms. Now this is how Likert scale is formed. You can, all of you can see this. For each statement, check the extent to which you agree. I believe that the church is the greatest institution in America today. So left side, you can see that marks are also given. +2 if you say strongly agree, +1 if you say moderately agree, 0 for neutral, -1 for moderately disagree, and -2 for strongly disagree. So you can use that in reverse order also, like the church represents shallowness, hypocrisy, prejudices. Now strongly agree, if you do it, then -2 will be there. And if you strongly disagree, then +2 will be there. So this is how you have to set it according to your statement. And but remember, you are going from strongly disagree to strongly agree, or strongly agree to strongly disagree. You are going in that way. Now example, Likert scale, you can see Wikipedia has a user-friendly interface. Now I have chosen agree. Wikipedia is usually my first resource for research. Strongly agree. People are responding in such manner. Then Wikipedia pages generally have good images. Disagree. Wikipedia allows users to upload pictures easily. You can see the all statements are related to Wikipedia's performance, and the respondent is just becoming agree or showing the disagreement towards the statements. Okay, so the last is also there. The Wikipedia has a pleasing color scheme, so it is neutral. The person is not able to decide either it is pleasing color scheme or not having pleasing color scheme. Now just have a look, a little difference between Thurston scale and Likert scale. So in Thurston scale, there is a agreement or disagreement among a large number of statements. Time consuming, it is time consuming, tiring, and disabling, require judges also to evaluate the statements. But in Likert scale, usually 5-point scale is there, easy to explain and develop. No need of judges here to explain the whole scale, designed to improve the level of measurement in social research, and it is mostly used by investigators to research in educational field also. Now, these are some references, students, for your purpose, and I hope you will study more about attitude scale, and you will be enhancing your knowledge about attitude scale. Now, MCQs time, and let's start some questions and general questions related to research and attitude scale. So just understand first question, difficulty level of item is not a matter of concern in the case of placement test, intelligence test, criterion reference test, norm reference test. So difficulty level of item is not a matter of concern in option C, that is criterion reference test. Question number 2 is related to rearrange in proper order the following points of Likert type attitude scale. We have just studied it, so I hope all of you will be able to answer it very quickly. So B option is having proper codes, that is, first of all, we are going to apply strongly agree. Then it is about undecided. Then it is about undecided. Then it is agree. Then it is strongly agree. So it is how strongly agree to strongly disagree. It is going in that way. All right. Now the next question, the main purpose of research in education is to help in the personal growth of an individual, help the candidate become an eminent educationist, increase job prospects of an individual, increase social status of an individual, So correct answer is help the candidate become an eminent educationist is answer B. Now, next question, which of the following does not belong to the category of non-probability sample? So, quota sample, multi-stage sample, purposive sample, incidental sample. So, the correct answer is, students, multi-stage sampling. So, thank you, students. With three different attitude balls you can see on my screen. First one's smiley, happy attitude, positive attitude. And in somehow not very good attitude or indifferent attitude, neutral attitude in second ball. And third ball is really, I hate spiders of that type of attitude. I hope you have enjoyed my lecture today and you have understood about the attitude scale, how the attitude scale is actually used in research process and what is all about attitude scale. You have seen its introduction, you have seen its characteristics, and you have seen how attitude is structured with ABC model, which is affective, behavioral, and cognitive part. We have seen the attitude scales also, and mainly we have seen Thurston's attitude scale. We have seen Likkert's attitude scale. So this is all about attitude scale in today's class, and I hope you have really enjoyed it. Keep revising, and thank you so much, students. See you in the next class. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, and keep learning.